Hills in the Rocky Mountains, and why not? Nakiska Ski Resort is where you'll find us today for our live broadcast of the Slalom. It's the Canadian Alpine Championships with Shaw TV, part of the Chasing Limits series with Shaw. Alongside former World Cup racer Paul Stutz, my name is Phoenix, and welcome to this. What a day we have in store for us.
We certainly do. We've had everything Mother Nature could throw at us this week, and we have a lot of fresh snow here. Unfortunately, wasn't able to complete the race official because of the amount of new snow. But here we are. It's another day. Beautiful Sunday in Nakiska, and we have the slalom coming up.
It's the nature of the beast. With any alpine competition, you're always at a disadvantage, if you will, because Mother Nature, if she wants to do something, she's going to do it whether you like it or not. But with the Alpine, especially the slalom, it's all systems go.
Exactly. You know what? Slalom being the most technical event, it gives us a little bit more wiggle room to be playing with some of those tougher snow conditions. And as you can see, we have some clips from our first run here. We're taking a look at some of the athletes from the first of two runs today, and you can see the snow is continuing to fall, and all the accumulation from yesterday has made for some challenging course conditions.
To paint a picture of what's happening here at Nakiska Ski Resort, as Paul mentioned, these are some of the first runs of these skiers. They get two runs, two opportunities, and, well, not two opportunities. Your combined score is what's going to give you the overall position.
Exactly. So just a recap on our week, we've had two downhill events, one-run races, the National Championship Super G here on Friday, which was an absolutely gorgeous day, but we saw the snow coming in at the end of the broadcast, and yesterday, unfortunately, for the two-run giant slalom, we had to cancel.
There are clubs from all across Canada that are being represented all the way from Ontario, Quebec, across the provinces of Alberta, British Columbia. So let's be honest here, Paul. We've got some of the best skiers from across Canada.
We do. This is a great cross-section. The best ski racers in this country out gunning for that national championship title. But let's not forget, we have an international field here. We saw some of our top spots being nabbed up by some Europeans. We had two Swedish sisters who were 1 and 2 in the Super G race, and the Canadians were the ones playing catch-up in those two.
The conditions here are absolutely magnificent. When you're at a beautiful facility like the Nakiska Ski Resort, you want the snow, and there is plenty of snow. One of the things, if you're not familiar with this area, Nakiska is about a 45 minutes, about an hour drive outside of Calgary, close to proximity of Canmore and Banff. This whole area is just brilliant on so many levels, Paul. I know you've skied on down here many times.
Definitely. We have the wonderful opportunity. We have all of these amazing hills in our backyard, and Nakiska being the closest mountain to Calgary, and apparently the one with the most amount of new snow right now. I think smiles to be had all around this weekend at Nakiska.
I know. We were talking to Jan Zacharak, who is the GM of Nakiska. He is grinning from ear to ear. Why not? This facility is outstanding. The people that are involved in this facility are outstanding. In a few moments, we're going to grab Jan and we'll talk to him about maybe the possibility. Get this, Paul. You and I know about this. The possibility of the Olympics returning to Calgary in 2026. I know that there's a committee right now there, maybe a bid going on. And according to Jan, we'll find out whether or not some of the higher-up muckadean mucks have been actually talking to him.
Well, what a perfect opportunity. These being the U19 championships, we're seeing the best racers from across the country, 16, 17, 18 years old. If you do the math, 2026 might be the absolute perfect time for these young athletes to be heading back to Nakiska, and not just a national title being hung around their neck. They're going to be gunning for that Olympic gold medal.
So as we weight on what's about to happen here. Again, we have the men and the women who are competing today in the slalom. The Canadian Championships up for grabs, and the number of competitors that we have here today are absolutely stoked because, as you mentioned a few moments ago, Paul, there was a cancellation yesterday with the giant slalom. So today, they're excited and they're just champing at the bit to want to get on this course.
Well, as you'll notice, too, you don't see any racers on course at the moment. Hill preparation with this amount of new snow is one of the most important and most difficult challenges that we're going to face from the organizing committee here too. So due to these conditions, we've got some soft snow out there. I know they had to push the first run back just a little bit to make sure that course is not only safe but fair for all the athletes. So again, a huge amount of credit and a huge thank you goes out to all of our volunteers, everyone behind the scenes that's working tirelessly to ensure these races are going to go off without a hitch. And although we do have a little bit of a delay here, no problem. We'll have slalom racing action coming along shortly.
Yeah, we're excited about that as well, too. In a few moments, like I said, I see Jan in my sights. I'm going to call him over here right now. Come on over here, Jan. He, again, is the general manager here of Nakiska and of Kananaskis. And one of the things that we'll find out from Jan, because, again, everyone is asking the questions as we have this course delay right now. And let's get Jan in here in just a few moments. And we'll ask him about this, because from what we're understanding, the city of Calgary, of course, it was back in 1988 that the Winter Olympics were held here. Jan, welcome to the show. We appreciate your time, sir.
Hello, how are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. We were chatting about the 2026 Olympics. There is a chance that there might be a bid in the makes. Have you been talking to anybody of significance about the possibility of bringing the Olympics back here to Nakiska?
So first thing first, the bid is kind of very far away yet. First, Calgary has to decide if they want to go for the Olympics or not. And due to this process, they are just investigating all the facilities, if they are still okay. They are investigating all the people, if the people are okay and Calgary is okay. And if this goes positive, after that the bid goes to the Canada Olympic Committee, and they will apply probably for the Winter Olympics.
What would that mean to Nakiska to have the Olympics return in 2026?
It would mean a lot. You know, there is not too many places on the world who had the Winter Olympics or Summer Olympics twice. Yeah, and this would be basically an opportunity for this generation to enjoy the same thing what the people enjoyed in 1988.
Speaking of this generation, obviously these being the U19 championships, if you do the math, as we just said, a lot of these athletes would be those contenders for those next Olympic Games.
Oh, I am sure. And I don't know how many of them, they know it, how many of them are dreaming about the Olympics, racing on the same hill, maybe what they race today, and representing Canada 2026. It definitely has to be a dream.
So go ahead, Paul.
No, I was just saying that's excellent. I think what a tremendous opportunity, whether they know it or not. They're going to have that experience, and maybe that will be the cutting edge to have that home field advantage for those games. That would be huge for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Nakiska is a big race here. You know, they will have many other opportunities to race here and be prepared for that dream come true one day. So this way or that way, they will be racing at Nakiska, Olympics or no Olympics. And we will see what happens.
We were chatting about, Jan, the level of talent that these young athletes have. It's amazing to see the Alpine clubs all across Canada being able to bring in some amazing coaches to train these athletes, but then to bring them to facilities like this. It's a partnership of sorts, yes?
Oh, definitely. You know, it's not enough to have perfect people, and you have to have perfect facilities for this kind of sport. And Nakiska is one of those who is dedicated significant amount of time, significant amount of space to ski racing through the season, right from November till May.
We have had a number of competitions over the last couple of days here at Nakiska Ski Resort. The downhill, we've had the giant slalom, we've had a number of them. Do you have a favorite out of all those?
There is no favorite. Every time when there is a competition, it's a favorite because it's basically a sport what is very popular between these kids, and there is no favoritism here. every time the competition is fun, from Nancy Green to national championships to NORAMs to eventually World Championships and Olympics.
Well, you're obviously no stranger to the racing side, and we're so thankful to have that support from this mountain. But you know what? I think you're selling yourself short there. You might have a bit of a favorite, because I've seen you bash a few gates in your day too, and every once in a while I catch up with you, and I can see that race suit popping out of your collar. So we know right from the very top, from our leadership here at Nakiska, we got a ski racing fan.
Oh, no question about that. You know, you are right. It's one ski racer forever in mind, and you know that very well, and I know it very well, and all these kids hopefully will stay true to the skiing when they will be older, however whatever they achieve.
An amazing representative of this alpine sport, and amazing representative of Nakiska Ski Resort. Jan, thank you very much, and maybe go down a few runs while we continue our broadcast and enjoy the ski.
I will ski some runs for you guys. Thank you very much,
Jan,
guys.
thanks, and good luck in 2026, okay, man?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's Jan Sakarek, who's the GM of Nakiska and, of course, of Kananaskis Country, the K Country, which is a spectacular place here if you've never been out this way. Okay, let's take our attention back to the course again, Paul. Explain to us what these guys are all up to.
Well, they're moving a lot of this fresh snow. I know Jan didn't say it just now, but Nakiska is the place to be for powder this weekend.
Been dumped on.
I know it's an absolute dream come true for a lot of the season's pass holders and a lot of the Calgarians we've seen up enjoying the mountains. But for racing, we still want hard snow. So these are our course workers. These are coaches. These are volunteers. This is every man and every shovel we can get, pushing off some of that new snow to the side of the course so we can have a good, firm, hard, fair race surface for our athletes coming up.
Well, if there's anyone that would know how to race slalom, it's the gentleman who's sitting right beside me, Paul Stutz, former World Cup skier. You have seen many, many delays like this, but you've seen what we're looking at right now countless times. Of all the alpine sports, this was your favorite.
It certainly was. I was very fortunate to represent Canada on the slalom side for many years. I was on the World Cup for about 10 years. Competing primarily in the slalom event. So it's definitely, I got a soft spot in my heart for the slalom. And as much as it was what I excelled at, it was always what I was having the most fun at. It's a very technical event. Comparing it to the downhill, Super G, and Giant Slalom, it's the shortest radius, it's the fastest tempo, and it's the quickest on the feet. So you do have to be just as precise and just as intricate, because it's a drag race out there in the slalom.
I'm sure there's a part of you that just wants to be out there big time too, yes?
More than you can imagine. I know I wish I could still ski the way I used to be able to, but it's so much fun to watch these young racers absolutely attacking and taking that Canadian championship title to heart, because you know they're going to be gunning as hard and as fast as they possibly can. So great slalom action to come. We had an awesome first run, and second run coming up.
When we put a production like this together, there are countless hours of volunteer time that's put into these Shaw TV productions, of course, the Chasing Limit series. One of our volunteers, Dana, is joining us on our set as we enjoy this. This is our living room, Dana. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing. It's absolutely amazing out here.
As a volunteer, we get people to do a lot of different things, which challenges a lot of individuals. Sometimes they've never run a camera before. Sometimes they've never pulled cable before. Give us an idea where you step in.
I'm a production coordinator, so I'm actually kind of mother henning everyone and making sure that they have all the right equipment. The batteries are running for radios. But to be honest, I've learned so much myself from all of the volunteers. All of them have such varied backgrounds and experience. And I learn about 20 new things every day, so it's been awesome.
Why should someone volunteer? Someone who's curious about getting involved in TV production, or even just the background of it all. What drove you to something like this?
To be honest, I didn't have a background in TV, and I can honestly say the industry, there's so many different avenues you can take. And really, being a volunteer allows you to actually touch on all those different things that you might be interested in trying. And there's so many things that, to be honest, I had no idea went on in a production like this, that truly I would recommend anybody, no matter what your age, you'll love it.
Well, I can definitely speak to that coming from the ski racing background that I have, not the television background like you two. I know all the pieces of the puzzle that go on behind the scenes to put on a ski race, but a television production has been a new experience for me to see all of those pieces of the puzzle. So we know people like you are absolutely irreplaceable and incredibly valuable to create a production like we're watching right now.
You know, and exactly what you just said too a few moments ago, Dana, is that even though you may not have the experience in whatever the production is, if for example, if we're filming something, some kayaking, or if we have a music award or whatnot, the whole idea behind volunteering for Shaw TV is, number one, presenting opportunities for individuals.
Absolutely.
But stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing something that maybe you didn't think you were capable of doing. I mean, we have so many different positions, and you see them. I know my kids come to me all the time, and they say, Dad, you know, I don't know about a lot of these different positions. I say, come on out. I've got my two boys out here volunteering over this the last couple of days, and they're loving it.
Yeah, it's between being able to do graphics, switching out the different cameras, trying the cameras, getting sort of insight from our announcers and being able to interview people. Never mind just the wealth of knowledge on the sort of full-time crew here as well. It's just been wonderful. Everybody's been so patient, answering questions. They're wonderful to us volunteers, and it's been an absolutely amazing experience.
Well, you're so kind to say those words, Dana. Thank you again for being our mother hen over these last couple of days. It's great to have you on board.
Thanks for having me.
Dana Ritchie, one of our volunteers here at Shaw TV, as we take a look at another live shot. Yes, there is a course delay for the slalom. The women will go first, followed by the men. The good news is we have a start list in front of us, and we're going to pass on that information to you and more details as we return to Nakiska Ski Resort. It is the Alpine Championships. Yep, it's the Nationals. This is part of the Chasing Limits series on Shaw TV. Back in a moment.
Wycom Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits series and Alberta Amateur Sports. Visit wycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
Shaw TV is home to the WHL regular season and the 2017 WHL playoffs. The journey will start with 22 teams and we'll have all the hits, the saves, and the goals until one team is crowned as Chanel Cup champions. For complete broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
I'm not special. Cancer happens to people all the time. I take 1 mile at a time, 26 miles a day. I want to set an example that'll never be forgotten. Sometimes it feels endless. But the pain I feel is nothing. I've seen little kids in so much pain. Somewhere, the hurting must stop.
Terry Fox ran more than halfway across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every year, millions of people around the world continue the marathon of hope in his name.
This is Isaac. He spends a lot of time in bed. He's always wanted a gaming system. His doctor told his mom and dad to reach out to Children's Wish. So they did. And then, one day, Children's Wish made his wish come true. Now, he's more connected online with friends and family.
For Sir George Etienne Cartier, the work of uniting Canada was as vast as the country itself. First, he won over Quebec.
Union is the only way forward.
No, Monsieur Cartier. Confederation will cost French Canadians their nationality.
Monsieur, together we will form a political nationality independent of our origins.
Diversity will be Canada's strength.
Then he fought for Manitoba.
The Northwest has formed a government under Louis Riel. We will not join Confederation unless our rights are respected.
So you want a new province? Then you have it. There will be a place for your people in Canada.
He envisioned a country from Atlantic to Pacific.
British Columbia won't even think of joining Canada without a wagon road through the Rockies.
Ask for a railway. We are building a country, after all.
Bold as a lion, Confederation could not have happened but for him. Le Canada, son pays, ses amours.
More objects have landed around the world.
This is one of 12.
I'm never going to be able to speak their words.
Got 2 days. Figure something out.
I am human.
It's their language.
We need to make sure that they understand the difference between a weapon and a tool.
Language is messy, and sometimes one can be both.
Wycom Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits Series and Alberta Amateur Sports. Visit wycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
Until one team is crowned Ed Chanel Cup champions. For complete broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
It is Nakiska Ski Resort, the beautiful Rockies. Welcome to the Chasing Limits Series here on Shaw TV. The Canadian National Alpine Championships on delay right now. The slalom course is what you're looking at. Joined by World Cup former racer Paul Stutz. Welcome. My name is Phoenix, and welcome to Ron Salverda, who is the Finnish rep. Not Finnish as in the language, but Finnish as in the competition. First of all, Ron, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Explain, first of all, Mother Nature and all this snow. I'm kidding. But, boy, what a day this is.
Yeah, for a winter sport, you know, we don't want a lot of snow, and that's the complete opposite what us skiers really want.
All right, give us an idea. I know you've got the radio here. You can't stay with us too much longer, but that's okay. Ron, give us an idea what a Finnish ref is all about.
Well, we're responsible for the entire finish area to make sure all the athletes come through the finish line with the proper amounts of equipment, and if make sure that at the end of the race that they've gone through all gates appropriately.
Explain to us the amazing volunteer crew that you have on hand.
It's incredible. I mean, there's some of the guys have been up here 9 days with setup and all the races. It's just incredible. They take their time, vacation time, whatever they can do to make this happen.
Ron, I mean, we know obviously a difficult situation today, a number of different variables. I know weather being a big factor. You kind of have to just roll with it and get things going as quick as possible here. Has today been a real challenge?
It's been a challenge. I mean, we started a little late today, but again, the crew just came through and they just did an awesome job to put that course back up and have it up and running.
Well, we had an excellent first run here. I know we have the results sitting in front of us from the top 30 women. Excited to see them down the course. Anyone you're cheering for specifically?
Oh, he can't say that. Come on now.
I'm completely unbiased.
There you go.
Completely.
Calgary Alpine, a fantastic organization. How long have you been involved with them?
I've been involved about 8 years with them now, and I got a 14-year-old U14, and my daughter here is racing today.
Oh, how do you feel about that as a parent? Does it make you a little nervous to see that beautiful angel coming down?
Not at all, actually. I get excited for her. She's. I think it's just a fantastic sport to watch them. The fearlessness that they have is fantastic.
Well, you know what? We want to appreciate your time. I know your time is limited. It's Ron Salverda, who is the Finnish ref. Thank you very kindly, sir, and go back on the hill. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Thanks a lot, John.
Oh, great. There you go. You get an idea of some of the amazing talent here that is part of the crew, that is also volunteer crew to do all of this. And you, Paul, you know this as well, too. This race would not happen without folks like Ron.
Well, of course it wouldn't. I mean, definitely a family event here. I'm seeing another parent just walk by us right now. We know all of these tireless volunteers are doing their absolute best to ensure these races are going off. Bib 17, Sydney Salverda, I think will be a favorite from Ron there. Great to chat with him, and thanks again for your time. I know you could hear his radio going. He's going to be doing absolutely everything he can to get this race off without a hitch and in control of the finish line here.
And a lot of people are scrambling as well, too, as we're trying to get the course ready for the next group. Now, will it be the men first or will it be the women first?
We have the women coming up in a few moments here, and I think we're just going to luck out and catch another opportunity to catch up with Shannon Erickson, another volunteer. We know she's been here absolutely tirelessly all day, all week, and we're so grateful to have not just the parents supporting the athletes, the parents supporting the entire organization, member of the home club of Calgary Alpine Racing. Hi, Shannon. Thanks for coming to stop by.
Hi.
Okay, is it true you have little pumpkins?
I have little pumpkins.
Are they ski racers?
Yes, they're big pumpkins.
Okay, so show them off. Who are they?
So I have a son, Bennett Erickson. and that's my only racer I have here today.
So the day that your son came to you and said, "Mom, I want to be a ski racer," what went through your mind?
I thought it was a great idea. Little did I know we'd end up here 10 years later.
We had a family here yesterday that we were chatting with, and the mums and the dads that were looking at these beautiful angels that we were interviewing, they kind of looked at us with that starry-eyed look going, I'm not sure I want my children involved in sports like this. It's demanding, yes?
Yeah, it's demanding, but it's a good sport. It gives them lots of lessons, lots of life lessons, lots of learning to win well, learning to lose well.
And how they've been doing so far?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay.
Getting better all the time.
Do you have tips for them?
Yeah, just be safe. Go fast, but as a mom, be safe too.
How are you involved today?
I'm timing at the bottom. We have a bit of timing issues today, so we're needed down there on the stop clocks.
So you've been running around like crazy today, obviously very demanding given these situations. I know it's tough, but you still have a big smile on your face.
I still have a big smile.
It's still a beautiful day out in Nakiska. We
yeah,
get to watch
it's a great
some ski
day.
racing.
Yeah,
So.
lots of snow. We don't always see that much snow here, so
yeah, Shannon,
fantastic.
I know you've got to get back to things, but thank you very much for all the
Well,
efforts you're
thank
doing.
you.
And thank you for stopping in.
Yes,
and good luck to your son, too.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, there you go. Shannon Erickson, again, one of the great volunteers who's involved in timing. Again, just to give you a feel, well, that's what we're trying to do, give you a feel of what it takes to put a production like this together as we have a delay on course.
That was great to catch up with Shannon. I've been very fortunate to actually work with that family on the other side of my life in real estate, actually. They're clients of mine, and was very happy when they knew they were going to be moving down south for ski racing. They moved to Calgary recently and was proud to represent them as their real estate agent on that transaction. So wonderful family full of volunteers. Her husband, Ted, out here supporting, as we said, not just their son, but this entire club and this entire race series all week.
One of the things that I'm realizing too, Paul, and again, you've been involved in the sport for many, many years, is how much of a family affair it is. I see you as you glance back and you recognizing people saying, hey, Paul, hey, Stutson, and of course your nickname, Cowboy. Hey, Cowboy. But it really is a tight-knit community, yes?
Is this a new nickname you've made up for me here? I think it's good. I think it's funny. But yeah, we're very fortunate. The ski racing community is just that. We're a very tight-knit group that takes care of each other well, and I know we keep saying this over and over and over, but it cannot be said enough times. This ski racing community is full of people who dedicate and give their time to create events like this. And the volunteer base that we have for ski racing, not only with our host club of Calgary Alpine, not only with our host province of Alberta Alpine, but the entire country and everyone under the Alpine Canada umbrella, they do their absolute best to ensure we are a leading nation in winter sports, and today is a perfect day to prove that.
Slight delay on course. We'll get to the slalom for the Canadian National Alpine Championships here at Nakiska Ski Resort. The next step for these current racers, a lot of them, they look up to you too, Paul, and they say to themselves, wow, if Paul Stutz can do it, then maybe one of these 10 could possibly do it. By the way, here are the current results for the first run for the ladies.
Yeah, definitely. We have our leaders, Abby Harrison from our host club, Calgary Alpine, in the top spot, followed closely by Soleil Patterson from the BC ski team. And if you look closely at the times, look at these results. 51.34, only 13 100ths of a second behind that. We have Soleil Patterson, only 9 100ths of a second behind that. Frances McDonald from the Vancouver ski team. Our top three is within 2/10 of a second. Look how close of a race we have here.
Truly outstanding, and the amazing talent here. Paul, when you look at these athletes and you say to yourselves, yeah, these are the new generation, the up-and-comers, what's in store for many of these athletes as they look to further their horizons to possibly the World Cup stage?
Exactly. Ski racing is a lifelong experience, and I think Jan Sekarak, our GM here at Nakiska, said it best. Ski racing doesn't go away. It's a lifelong experience. It's a community that you stay with for your whole life, and I'm definitely rooting for all of these young Canadians to be working their way up as I did onto the provincial ski teams, onto the national ski team, and then representing our country on the World Cup. It was a dream come true for me.
And for your parents too, I'll bet.
Definitely. Again, back to being a family affair. It was quite an honor to represent Canada, and thankful to have that success for so many years and be able to do that. But you know what? Great to watch the next generation and hopefully they all have those World Cup and World Championship and Olympic dreams in the back of their mind as they're pushing out of the gate today, because this is just one of the many steps along that process and along that journey.
Well, the good news is there's at least the top 30 that we're showing you there and their times, and we're excited to get to run number 2. Again, as we were just chatting with Shannon just a few moments ago, she's keeping track of the times. So time delay, that's what we're dealing with right now. There was a slight delay as the day started, but we're progressing, and that's the good news. We're progressing. A number of clubs being represented not only here in Alberta, but across Canada. You've been a member of
I was a Banff Alpine racer, for almost 25 years. Very proud Banff Alpine racer. I started skiing with them at 5 years of age, and was very thankful to still align myself with such a great club that has produced so many tremendous racers. But as you said, our host club, Calgary Alpine Racing here, another solid club. A lot of great ski racers have come from that. But I think we had the opportunity to speak with Nigel Loring, the president of Alberta Alpine. I think he said 42 clubs across the province of Alberta here.
Isn't that amazing?
And all the way from the south, Castle Mountain, all the way up to Grand Prairie. So definitely an opportunity for everyone in this province to get involved with ski racing. We know Alberta Alpine has all of those clubs listed on their website, and easy information to see how you can get involved, not just for your children, but for volunteers, for sponsors, people getting involved in all different aspects of the sport.
So if I'm a parent and I've got my little Johnny that seems to really enjoy being out on a hill like the Nakiska Ski Resort, what's the next step? Should there be something that parent should be looking at in that child to say, oh, you know what? He's a go-getter. I mean, were you a go-getter? Were you a risk taker? I mean, what exactly should the parent be looking for when they talk to their children? Because this is not faint of heart. This is not. This is extremely challenging sport.
I think all kids have no fear, and all parents are the ones chasing their kids down the hill. But you know what? Ski racing takes all different types of athletes, all different body types, all different personality types, and it's really just getting them involved in those programs. Even no matter what ability levels, all of these clubs have different programs for different abilities and different desires, different commitment levels, and they can work with you to, if you're just a beginner, they have a program for you all the way to, you know what, hey, I can't keep chasing little Johnny down the hill. I need a professional coach to be the one chasing him down there. So all of these clubs have that answer for all ability levels and all entertainment levels. It really just comes down to what that desire is to, not just become a racer, but improve your skiing. And even if those World Cup dreams aren't at the end of the line, we're creating great people. We're creating great athletes.
Absolutely.
We're creating great skiers that can enjoy this sport with their families for a lifetime.
So the lesson to be learned here is find out. Ask questions, because you never know where your level could take you. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Yes, we are on a delay, but we will have this competition coming at you momentarily. It's the Slalom, the Canadian Alpine Championships, here live from the Nakiska Ski Resort. It is part of the Chasing Limits series on Shaw TV. We're back in a moment.
Wycom Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits series and Alberta Amateur Sports. Visit wycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
Shaw TV is home to the WHL regular season and the 2017 WHL playoffs. The journey will start with 22 teams and we'll have all the hits, the saves, and the goals until one team is crowned Ed Chanel Cup champions. For complete broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
For Sir George Etienne Cartier, the work of uniting Canada was as vast as the country itself. First, he won over Quebec.
Union is the only way forward.
No, Monsieur Cartier. Confederation will cost French Canadians their nationality.
Monsieur, together we will form a political nationality independent of our origins.
Diversity will be Canada's strength.
Then he fought for Manitoba.
The Northwest has formed a government under Louis Riel. We will not join Confederation unless our rights are respected.
So you want a new province? Then you have it. There will be a place for your people in Canada.
He envisioned a country from Atlantic to Pacific.
British Columbia won't even think of joining Canada without a wagon road through the Rockies.
Ask for a railway. We are building a country, after all.
Bold as a lion, Confederation could not have happened but for him. Du Canada, son pays, ses amours.
There's something you gotta see. Who did this?
That's the car.
We have to go back up tomorrow. And then I'm gonna go up there without you. Help me. You'll have to trust me. You better come home to me.
It is the Canadian National Alpine Championships live from the Nakiska Ski Resort alongside former World Cup skier Paul Stutz. Welcome back. My name is Phoenix. We are going to get to the competition, the slalom, in just a few moments, but let's introduce you to one of the random racers that we grabbed a few moments ago. Jack Forsyth. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Do you want to say hi to Mom and Dad while they're... Yeah. Okay, what ski club are you part of, pal?
I'm from Whistler Mountain Ski Club.
Whistler Mountain. You're familiar with this, Paul.
I definitely. There's a tremendous amount of racers
You
that come
hated
out of
them,
that
didn't
club.
ya?
Well, of course, it's a bit of a rivalry. I think Mike Janik, one of your guys' favorites, was a rival of mine for my whole career. So
there you go.
definitely following in his footsteps as a slalom skier from Whistler.
Yeah, that's the plan.
How was first run today? Tell us what's going on up there.
First run was pretty ragged. I was starting bib 48, so it was pretty loose and pretty rough by the time I went, but I held it together pretty decently and made it down to the bottom, so that's good.
Excellent. You make it in the top 30 for the flip for second run?
I actually don't know. None of us really know our time, so we don't know how anyone stacks up. So
I think that's what we're all waiting on right now, too.
Hoping I'm in there.
Jack, you're a 16-year-old. You started started skiing when you were how old?
I was 2 years old.
Get out of town. You were not.
Yeah, 2 years old in Whistler.
So you, when did you really have a passion for wanting to do this full time?
When I was probably about 10. Since I'm from Whistler, we had the Olympics there in 2010, and that's when I really realized that this is what I want to do.
Do you look up to folks like Paul Stutz here sitting right beside you?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Canadian heroes like Paul.
Oh, hey, that means a lot. Well,
a Canadian hero, Paul. Are you kidding me?
Very humbling. But, hey, we love the next generation of young racers like yourself. We're cheering for you now. And as we were talking earlier, we might have an Olympic bid going in for Calgary. You could be on this hill in 2026 racing for this country.
Yeah, Jack, your thoughts about that? I mean, where do you want to take this?
I want to ski in the Olympics. Win a gold medal at the Olympics.
Look at that.
Good answer. Good answer.
We may have a future Olympian sitting right beside us. Jack Forsyth, again, your parents are proud. We're proud of you as well, too. Thanks, man, and good luck with the second run.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There you go, Jack Forsyth. He is
Thanks so
part
much, Jack.
of the Team BC, which Paul's not a big fan of, but that's okay. In the meantime, you want to get a feel for what's happening with the people who actually coach athletes like Jack. There are so many great coaches across Canada, and we found one in Sue Schwartz, who's joining us, a coach of the Alberta ski team. Sue, hi.
Hi.
What's with the weather?
It's great. It's outdoor sport, and here we are.
You've been skiing for how long? A couple of years, personally?
47.
Oh, so you didn't have to give me a number, Sue.
I did, though.
Tell us about your team.
I'm with the Alberta ski team this year. We've got U19s racing today. We had 6 men in the race, and we're looking for the top of the podium in the U19s here.
As a coach, give a parent who's interested about getting their children involved in the in alpine skiing, give us an idea of what a coach is responsible for.
We're a logistician of everything.
Well, I like that word.
Yeah, we do. I mean, besides just the ski racing part and the travel, the logistics, the finance, encouragement, psychology, nutritionist, and at the end of the day, we want to have kids enjoy the sport and enjoy skiing. So.
You can relate to what she's saying.
I certainly can, because I was fortunate enough to have numerous amount of coaches that did all of those things for me growing up, and we're all very fortunate. I've been lucky enough to work with Sue over my career, and she is definitely one of those, Schwartz being one of those names in ski racing in this province that goes back generations, and we're very fortunate to have Sue's expertise on the Alberta ski team here, and I think the athletes are benefiting from that.
No question about it. Sue, give us an idea when an athlete has an issue. Let's say there is a delay like this, or let's say that they have a crash. Give us the psychological chatter that you pass on to your athletes when something like this happens.
Well, actually, we hope to prepare them before the circumstance happens on the day of, so that they can take challenges, physically and mentally as well. So if they didn't have the best of runs, but they need to come back for the second run, and we're vying for the top spot, then they're mentally prepared to do so. And our kids are there's a lot of resilience in actually making it to the Alberta ski team level. It's you have to qualify from the club level, and we've got a great group of guys and gals on the team this year.
How fun is it being a coach?
Oh, it's fun.
I bet, hey.
You can
tell by your smile.
It's my career.
Oh, Sue.
I love it, and I got to work with Paul, and saw him grow up in ski race, and when you have athletes that come back and give back, it's exciting for coaches as well. So we love it.
He's quite a quite a representative for this sport.
Easy guy to work with.
Yeah,
Yep.
you bet. Well, sometimes he is. Sue, thank you very much. I know you're busy right now. I appreciate your time. Thank you kindly.
You're welcome. We're off to the second run. Thanks, you guys.
Sue Swartz, the coach of the Alberta ski team, as we have a course delay of the slalom. We'll get to that in just a few moments. Don't you worry about that. Boy, again, we've talked about this before, how this is a family affair. You have some fond memories of that young lady.
Of course I do. You know, this is it's such a great community, and I think we're so fortunate today to be able to chat with all of the different personalities, everyone from an athlete to a coach to a race organizer to a volunteer, just getting a good firsthand look at all of the different pieces of the puzzle that are going into putting on a race production like this. So again, thank you, Sue, for stopping by, and best of luck to those Alberta ski team members for the second run.
Well, from coach to president of the Alberta Alpine Club, we have Nigel Loring, who's taking a quick moment to join us here. Nigel, hi.
Hi.
We chatted yesterday about the conditions. We had to close the course down because of the giant slalom was canceled because of conditions. But with the slalom, that doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. I mean, slalom we can run in almost any conditions. It's definitely a quicker event as far as the tempo goes, but the distances aren't so long between the gates, so we can go through just about anything with that.
You know this responsibility to be a president. It doesn't come lightly. You have a lot of responsibilities. Sue mentioned as a coach of responsibilities, but you as a president, give us some idea of what your world's all about.
Well, I mean, really, my role here is to support the local host club, the race organizing committee, Calgary Alpine, and to help support the officials and volunteers that put this race on and make it possible for all the athletes to have not only a fair experience but a good competition.
So, Nigel, not only is your responsibility on the hill to ensure this race is getting off without a hitch, you're pretty instrumental to this broadcast with Shaw Television, aren't you?
Well, it is true that we've been working now 3 years with the Chasing Limits crew and Shaw Community Access TV, and it's been a fabulous experience bringing our sport into the homes and living rooms of Alberta and across Canada and hopefully around the world.
Well, you've obviously been doing a fantastic job. We've been very fortunate to have 5 days of great racing here. Unfortunately, yesterday didn't work out. I know that's part of the puzzle, part of the game. Mother Nature took its toll. Anything to say about yesterday's event?
Well, it's true that we had a lot of snow, which is good for skiing, not so much for ski racing, and it certainly caused, certainly some frustration for the racers who were expecting to have their performance and their opportunity to test their skills against the best in the country of their age. But as you point out, that is ski racing, and it does happen that sometimes we have to cancel a race. Yet the show goes on, and we're here today racing, and we couldn't be happier.
Do you have a favorite of the disciplines, the downhill, Super G? Do you have a favorite?
My personal favorite is the slalom. I think it's certainly the quickest action.
Coming from
event.
A slalom racer.
And, the downhill, of course, has got lots of challenges to be fast, but generally, because the athletes have 2 training runs, they have a good chance to understand what's coming up, and the course is very consistent. The slalom is different. Every single turn is a new experience, and the racers really rely on their training and experience to be able to navigate the 58 or 60 turns from start to finish.
No question. And a competition like this requires a number of individuals to be involved in this, not only individuals like yourself and timing, but how about those volunteers who are tirelessly up on that hill taking care of business? How about them?
Oh, amazing. From dawn till dusk, these volunteers and the Calgary Alpine Club have done a phenomenal job. We couldn't run this sport without them. I'm actually probably one of the least important people on the hill. What is important is the people that actually make this race possible, and that is the officials and the volunteers.
Well, as we wait, we have a course delay. We will have our competition starting up just shortly. Nigel, we want to appreciate, again, all the efforts, and thank you very much for getting us involved here at Shaw TV and part of the Chasing Limits series. Thank you again for everything you do, and let's hope we get a race happening pretty quick here.
Oh, we will. Okay, thank you, guys.
There you go.
Bye.
It's Nigel Loring, the president of Alberta Alpine. Always a pleasure to talk to that gentleman. And again, as you understand here, that we have a wonderful contingent of people that are putting something like this together. Well, the good news is it looks like we're kind of warming up at the top of the gates for our first competitor, and that's the exciting news. These athletes have been waiting all day for this moment, and so have we, to show it off to you as we watch this race.
We got our first forerunner in the gate. gate, and we are on course. That is exactly like if we wanted to see, exactly like the plan was. We're having 4 runners go. I think we have 3 pushing out of the gate this afternoon. And just to recap, 4 runners, we're sending them. They're obviously qualified racers, qualified skiers, but they're going to be testing this track out, ensuring everything is safe, ensuring it's running well, ensuring all the timing is working, and we'll have all those pieces of the puzzle running before the first racer pushes out of the gate in mere moments here.
One thing that we're discovering as well, too, with the conditions changing literally by the minute, we realize that that's going to also affect the course as well, too. The good news is there's a number of individuals standing by with shovels and understanding exactly what's about to happen. Now that the 4 runners are in the process of going down the hill, we're going to make sure that we keep an eye exactly what is happening throughout the course of the race to the best of our abilities. And guess what? The good news is our Shaw TV crew is out there in force. We have it from start to finish all the way down.
Yeah, fantastic opportunity to have live TV coverage of these U19 national championships. Tremendous opportunity, instrumental pieces of the puzzle. Thanks, Nigel Loring, again for Alberta Alpine's involvement. And thanks again to Shaw TV for showcasing this sport to the world.
Absolutely enjoying this coverage. And you know what? If you're truly enjoying sport like this, hey, may we direct you also to the World Cup competitions. It happens all year round, as you know. Well, not all year round, Paul, but for the most part, all around the world, World Cup is such a spectacle to really bring attention to this sport.
Yeah, we were very fortunate. We even had our host nation World Cup skier cross competition in Ontario today. Thankfully, Canada took home the top spot in both the men's and the women's. So, again, just another addition to this record year for Canadian ski racing. We had World Championships results on the Alpine side with a few podium positions from Eric Gay and Manny Osborne Parody. Just a few of the names we have thrown around in this incredible level of talent we have in this country right now. We have our para-alpine team has had a tremendous amount of success on the World Cup, and you know what, bringing it right down to these grassroots levels at the U19 level, we have the next generation of champions, World Cup champions, Olympic champions on this hill. I think so.
This would not be possible, again, with some amazing individuals. Yesterday, you and I, Paul, had the opportunity to talk to the chief of timing, Don Boyce, about the GM from Nakiska, Jan Sakarak, Nigel Loring, who you just heard from a few moments ago, and, of course, Mike G. yesterday, the chief of race. So many incredible people are involved in this competition, and, again, we just want to give them their just desserts, and, of course, all the other people that are involved with, too.
We just got to see 2 of those volunteers, Don Boyce and Doug Airy, another one of our very gracious sponsors for this race with Shaw GMC. You know what? They're the ones running the timing today, and you know what? They've had a tough day. They've had a lot of challenges.
Sure.
But you know what? They still had smiles on their faces because they love ski racing, and they love helping out, and they love putting on tremendous quality races just like this one.
And if you want to be a part of this as well, too, they're always looking for some folks to get involved, which we just love. Okay, so as we get closer and closer to the start, let's give you an idea of what you should be looking for during this race. Of course, there's a number of gates, and I believe it was Nigel who said there's upwards of 60 gates on this course.
Yeah, we can do a little Slalom 101 here. We got 60-plus gates on the course. Obviously, a separate course set from the first run. They've reset both the men's and the women's course. From about midway down on Whoop Up, we have the start gate far on skiers' right. So starting off on a steep pitch, an interesting course set. We have a number of combinations. We know there's a lot going on in slalom, and our audience at home might sometimes get a little confused with all of the different combinations and exactly how are those racers attacking this course? Are they hitting those gates? Are they in the way? What's going on?
Bit of a visual. I've actually grabbed a pole for you, my friend. Paul has this would be a typical pole that you have in your hand that we'd see on the course. Is that correct?
Yeah, these are one of our gates that we see all the way down the mountain. As you said, 60-plus gates on this course, obviously homologated for the vertical drop. We're going to see our athletes pushing right out of the gate and wanting to keep their ski tips as close to the pin as we can, because we know that shortest line from start to finish, passing around all the gates, is going to be the fastest today. So you'll see those ski tips and those ski boots just millimeters away from the gate.
Now, the key is the ski and the boot themselves have to go around the actual gate. If they don't, you're disqualified.
Exactly. That's one of the common things that happens in slalom. It's called straddling a gate or hooking a tip, where that ski being just on edge trying to pass around ends up just hooking on the other way, and that is actually the end of your day. You're disqualified because your ski tips and your boots are not passing down the correct line of the course.
Okay, now as you take a look at part of the course here, the slalom course, you'll see that there's a number of gates. Now there are some, Paul, that looks like a hairpin gate. There's also some individual gates. Maybe just give us an idea. Like we see a gate there, it's just one pole, but there are some gates that have multiple poles. Maybe just take a moment to explain that.
So yeah, we got a number of different combinations. Obviously, the open gates coming out of the start gate. I think to be a homologated fifth slalom, we need 4 hairpins, which is where you'll see the double gates, 2 gates quite close together, where the racers have to navigate around that tight section. We can see at the top of our screen one of those hairpins right there. We actually have our first racer on course. I believe this is. Who do we have? Bib number 45, Anne-Sophie Beauchemin on course. We are underway for the second run of the women's slalom at the U19 National Championships here at Nakiska Resort. Racer number 1 on course.
56.78 was Anne-Sophie Beauchemin's first run and absolutely terrorized the course. That was one of the top runs. That's why we're seeing her coming across the finish line there. Did not miss a gate. Good for Miss Annie.
Across the line. We're going to be reporting times as we get them. As we said, there's been some challenges on the hill today, and we're going to do our best reporting times to you, but we know live timing online, those results can be found hopefully as soon as possible at alpinecanada.org or at fiski.com. We now have Jillian Callahan from the Okanagan ski team. This 16-year-old obviously had the advantage of coming in 29th in the first run, and we know the second run is the reverse 30 order for these racers.
We'll just keep an eye on their techniques right now. And, Paul, let's just get nice tight on some of these ladies. Boy, they are just attacking this hill. Even though with the conditions being the way that they are still up for some great, great times here.
Great to see actually how difficult this course is. All this soft snow is making for some challenges for these young ladies. But you know what? Isla Hawkins here from the Banff Alpine Racers looks to be skiing confidently and comfortably as she heads down the pitch towards the finish. She's going to be just wanting to get as much speed out of this last section as she can and across the line. Let's stay tuned until we get some of those times, but we know these athletes are all going to be pushing and chasing those limits as fast and as furious as they can be. We come back to the start, catching a bit of a mistake over the break over there. We got Emily Hebert from Quebec, another 16-year-old on course. But you know what? I think one of those mistakes that we just saw will be one of those sections where
I believe
maybe
that's
some
Abby
of that time will be lost.
Is that Abby Sherritt? Well, I think you said number.
Yes, we do have Abby Sherritt, Calgary Alpine Racing. So one of our home club favorites from Calgary Alpine. She's across the line. She still's got a smile on her face, which is excellent. She's going to be gunning for it and eagerly anticipating her time. But you know what? There we go.
We want to give you an idea, too, that there's an interval time that we are sending down these athletes. There's 2 on course at a time. That's why you're seeing this, what you're seeing right now. As we look at our next female competitor, it's the Alpine Championships here at Nakiska Ski Resort.
We got Kieran Sotart on course. She's going to be wanting to follow in her brother's footsteps. Alberta ski team member Michael Sotart, definitely a family name in ski racing here. And great skiing, comfortable and confident going over that pitch. But I think she's going to be wanting to let her skis go a lot in this bottom section. Hopefully she can really let go and get as much speed in the bottom section of this course as possible. Because we know, just like the downhill, carrying your speed off the pitch onto that flat section is going to be the name of the game and is what we're going to see our champions doing and executing well today across the line.
Yeah, and that's her second run. Her first one was pretty darn good, 55.69. And there is our next competitor on course. It's the ladies first, then the men. As you can tell by our shot there, yes, the snow is coming down. It will play a bit of a factor for these ladies. But again, they're just attacking it big time, and they have to. The ruts haven't really been carved out just yet, so some fast times probably for these first few ladies.
Definitely an advantage starting earlier in snow conditions like this. We got Sydney Mason just coming across the line at the bottom of our screen there. She has that advantage of that early start number, which is exactly what we want to see. Although she had the deficit from the first run, she'll be gunning to try and make up some of that in her second run. Bib 19 on course, Frédéric Cardinal from Estrie, from Quebec. Some of that Eastern Canadian contingent here. Obviously, no stranger to the slalom event. A lot of amazing technical skiers from Quebec. But here we have Frédéric coming down the bottom section, trying to hang on. We're already seeing that course develop some of those ruts. You can see her just struggling in that bottom section.
Through a hairpin.
Speeds are down. I think it's just the nature of what's going on with the snow.
Absolutely, absolutely. As we continue to back on the course again, fast and furious. The ladies are on course. This is competitor, I believe, number 23.
Morgan Ross on course. You see her coming over that breakover. The camera doesn't do it justice. You have no idea how steep that section is. It really is a difficult section of this course, and it requires some confidence to break over from that flatter section above onto that steep lower section.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Executed well. Morgan Ross coming down to the finish. She had an excellent first run time, was sitting there in the top 20 and across the line for Ross. Hopefully she'll be happy with her second run time. And again, combined times. It's not best of.
Absolutely.
It's combined time. So one little mistake means you're out of it today. We saw a lot of women in the first run make those mistakes and not finish that course, but we're seeing some great skiing here in the second.
Paul and I had a chance to walk down this course, and you're right, it is a challenge, especially when you have to walk up this black diamond as they come flying down this black diamond. Here's our next competitor.
Bib number 30, Tyra Henderson. Skiing well, I think again, looked a little timid coming over that breakover, but carried all the speeds that she could down to that bottom section. So great skiing there.
One of the top times from this young lady, 54.69 in the first run. And just missing. But just getting around the gate. Again, you want to maintain your speed, but you still have to carve enough into the hill to make sure that you can actually hit each one of these gates.
Yeah, definitely. Emily Goodman here. Great skiing. They're seeing them right tight on the pin, keeping those skis as close to that pin as possible, cross-blocking all those gates, making as much speed as she can across the line. Bib number 25, Emily Goodman. She had a 54.69 from the first run. Let's hope she can best that in the second here.
And just give you an idea, in the first run, 51.34 was the fastest time in the first run. But as again, we will get the times, the unofficial times for you. Unfortunately, Steffi Ralph looks like she had an issue with one of those gates. That's got to be frustrating.
It is, definitely. That's the end of her day, unfortunately, right by the finish there. But that's it. That's the game. That's slalom. She was just a little bit on her heels and couldn't quite make it through that bottom section. We know it's tough, but again, she'll have an opportunity next weekend, but that's the end of her day here today.
And as you're realizing, too, the course or the race does not stop. We just ask the racer if they have an issue just to move off to the side, because down the hill now, this is Hannah Petro from the United States. Her first run, 54.27. Not too bad, but can she pick up that time for her second run?
Yeah, she's got an over two second deficit to make up from the first run, but that's with these great course conditions and these early start numbers, she does have that advantage. So great skiing from Hannah Petro.
Watch this young lady, 53.69, so not too far off the pace. Jane Anderson, competitor number 18 on course right now. Paul, how's she doing?
I think she's skiing well. This is a really aggressive skiing. That's exactly what we want to be seeing. She's right on the pin, trying to maintain as much speed as she can, fighting through these soft conditions, but looks like she is doing exactly what she had planned to do. Great skiing. Back to the top, we have our Banff Alpine racer, 16-year-old Claire Timmerman. Great skiing as she breaks over the pitch here on Whoop Up at Nakiska.
Claire holding it tight to the gate. Again, holding on as tight as she can with those cross blockers, making sure she can just carve her way through it. It's got to be a challenge. Again, these conditions are not for the faint at heart. And as she's coming down this course, man, she's looking good.
Great family full of ski racers. She's going to be looking to make mom and dad proud here, and with skiing like that, I'm assuming she'll do just that. Great skiing from Claire Timmerman of the Banff Alpine Racers.
There was a handful of ladies who came down on the first one with a time of 53 point something, and this is one of these ladies that is so close to the competition, or to the top or the lowest score time of 51.34. Ashley Alexander, competitor number 17, I believe.
Nope, we got Sydney Salverde here, actually, bib number 22. We actually spoke with her father, another one of the volunteers here. She's with the host club, Calgary Alpine, skiing very well. She knows this hill. She knows exactly what she's doing. Little bit of a mistake coming over that breakover, but you know what? That happens. That's part of slalom. And you know what? If there's any spot on the course to be making those mistakes, at the top of the pitch, right at the bottom here is where you want to be clean and precise and strong on your skis.
And her dad, Ron, is right at the finish line as well, too. No doubt he's got a big smile on his face. You might catch him in the shot, too. He's wearing a gray jacket. Ron, you should be proud of that young lady, Sydney Salverda, just finishing her course and her run.
Erica Peepin, next on course, bib number 31. Looks like she's having the same difficulty down that pitch, just a little below the gate. I just don't think she has the height and the line that you really want to be attacking the course from. Once you get below that tempo, it's really hard to make it back, and we know that's where all that soft snow's building up, and there's not much to push off up there. So that's, again, where we're seeing some of that lost time happening.
And maintaining the tempo is exactly right, Paul. If you don't maintain your flow through these gates, you're going to lose time. Especially look for the puffs of snow from the back end of these skis. That's slowing you down. You don't want that. You want to maintain your speed, tight to the gate, maintain your balance. And here is our next competitor.
Carlene Rudder hails from Edmonton, but a member of the Sunshine Ski Club, so she knows they don't have the biggest mountains up there, but you know what? Strong skiing. She knows courses like this. She knows exactly what she's doing. Back to the start, Tara Price from Craigleith, Ontario, skiing well. Great technique at the top of the turn there. That's exactly the line we wanted to see. Let's just hope she can let that go and carry all that speed into the bottom section. But that is the type of skiing we've been looking for today. Very
Great
aggressive,
rhythm.
right on the pin, and as you said, rhythm. Slalom, although we have the combinations in there, it is definitely a rhythm. It's almost like a beat. That you're trying to maintain that tempo through the whole course.
Tara Price off course. Sabrina Michon is now on course. Boy, check out their first run. She had an incredible time of 52.78. That would put her probably in the top 10. She's trying to improve on that. Sabrina Michon on course now.
Michaud hails from Mont Tremblant, Quebec, host of our Senior National Championships later this month. Would love to see her there, but great skiing as she crosses the line. Back to the start. Another Quebec ski team member in her first year. There she is.
Abby Thomas, loses a little bit on that gate. Holds her composure. Her arms a little far apart. Do you want to keep them nice and tight, Paul? Or?
Well, you know, she's got to really focus on that pole plant, something that's very crucial on a run like this. We know balance is going to be so difficult in these soft conditions, and that pole plant and those arms and keeping that upper body calm and controlled is going to be absolutely the best technique and best game plan to be carrying into the top section, but maintaining that speed onto the bottom of the course.
Dorothy Fauché is now on course again. She had a killer run at 52.61 in her first run, hoping to improve on that. Again, the combined runs will determine your top standings.
You can see those bright yellow bases shining on the snow. I'm not sure if that's going to guide her way down the hill, but the light is getting a little bit flatter. It may be a bit of a difficult situation for Fauché here as she tries to navigate the bottom section, but looks like strong skiing as she crosses the line. Dorothy Fauché from Ski Quebec.
Just give you a reminder, too, alpinecanada.org will have all the updated times for you as we continue our competition here. It's the women's slalom from the Nakiska Ski Resort. We just saw there a few moments ago in our shot. We had competitor number 120.
I think that was just a mistake on the bib because I believe that was Natalenko from the BC ski team off course. So that will be the end of her day. But we do have another Quebec ski team member, Sierra Smith. We've seen some great racing from Smith this week in the downhill, in the Super G. Unfortunately not the GS, which we know is one of her favorites, but an excellent slalom skier, and those skills are paying off. A mistake there down that pitch. That's not what we want to see from Smith. We know she's got more in the tank than that. that. But you know what? Laying it all on the line, and that's the name of the game in slalom. You have to be risking absolutely everything. She gets hung up there. I think maybe risking a little bit too much as she lost her pole. She's hanging on, but that's slalom. You have to be gunning, and there she is across the line. Not sure if she'll be happy with that time with some of those mistakes, but again, Smith being as young as she is, we know we got a lot more ahead of her. Cameron Metzger on course.
52.27 was her first run. The time on the fastest time on this course was 51.34 from Abby Harrison, who you're going to see in a matter of minutes. Hang on with that as we watch Cameron Metzger on course.
Metzger from the Ontario ski team spoke with her coach, actually Alberta native Mike Nasisenik. He's got a lot of confidence in these young Ontario ladies, and there's no reason why he shouldn't if they're going to be skiing like this. This is phenomenal. This is the best skiing we've seen so far in this run, and I think we'd be likely to see Metzger here at the top of our list once we get those times. Great skiing, Cameron Metzger. A whole family of ski racers with that family, and I think making mom and dad proud there.
Skylar Buckle is now on course. Skylar Buckle, 52.19, her first run, not far off the pace. She's on course right now. She's got to do whatever she can to maintain that speed in the upper section. A big drop right here, but you've got to, again, it's the balance of speed, but also of technique, Paul.
Yeah, there she is, strong again, but we're seeing that course deteriorate. So times will likely fall off. Even though these were our top girls from the morning and likely our highest ranked women in this race, I think just given the conditions, we'll likely see some of those times deteriorate. So it's really going to be the amount of time that she made up in that first run that's going to be the biggest tell, as we know it's a combined time race.
Well, these next three ladies are absolutely unbelievable, including this young lady here. They had the fastest 3 times in the first run. Here is the first of the 3 ladies we're talking about.
Our podium contenders, we got Frances McDonald, Vancouver ski team. This 17-year-old is definitely charging. She knows she's in the top 3. She knows she's got the advantage to be a favorite for that podium, but she has to execute this run, and looks like she is doing just that. We have Soleil Patterson from the BC ski team, second place from our first run. Again, so tight, only 13/100ths of a second off our leader. That's not much time to make up. Let's hopefully some of those mistakes we're seeing on the pitch not going to cost her too much. But she's got the skill, she's got the talent. Let's just hope she has the speed to maintain all of that into this bottom section. Our second to last racer. There she is, Soleil Patterson.
Incredible lean through each of those gates, but this is the young lady you want to keep an eye on. 51.34. Abby Harrison threw down the gauntlet in the first run earlier this morning. Oh! And loses her ski. What a moment of frustration for that young lady. She had the fastest run in this course. This is a moment for her that she will not forget.
Really tough to see. That's too bad. You know what? Great skiing in the first run. A lot of credit where credit's due for that, but just couldn't execute that. Got a little bit inside on that bottom pitch and couldn't quite hold on. She got caught in the soft snow, and unfortunately our leader from the first run from the Calgary Alpine Racing Club, Abby Harrison, did not finish. Soleil Patterson and Frances McDonald, both strong skiing, both strong runs in the second leg here, and you know what, we'll likely see them taking that top spot in the podium with Abby Harrison out.
Mackenzie Beeman on course right now. She's trying to get herself a good run. As you can tell, she's lost it too. Something happened. Something, whether it was technical or she's looking down at her hands, something happened there, Paul. She's looking at her hands.
It is. So we're actually getting into the last few women of today's race. We've had our flip 30. These were the women who placed in the top 40 from the first run, so they have an opportunity to compete in their second run and hopefully earn their way into that top 30 result they were looking for. So great skiing from some of our younger racers as we round out the women's field with Ella Renzoni.
Look how she's pushing through here with her cross blocker, trying to attack this course as best as she can. But again, now in the tuck position, trying to make up some sort of time anywhere she can find it. Again, times are unofficial and times also available later today, alpinecanada.org, as Grace Klepatiuk is now on course.
Great skiing, she knows the course is deteriorating. She's going to do her absolute best. She has to stay in that rut. I think a common mistake we see is a lot of these athletes get a little bit back on their heels and try to ski their own line. But here we got Vicky Riendo. She's going to be doing her best to stay in that rut, and then across the line we have it. Not sure if those hands are in the air yet, but great skiing nonetheless. Grace Klepachuk
Here
on
she
course.
is now, yep. We got. We were looking at our start list, but they've changed it a little bit. Oh, something happened on the top there, Paul. It looked like she may have gone just a little bit too wide, and she knew that she didn't do it.
Grant, again, we know these younger racers
may not on the heels.
May not have the strength, may not have the experience, but you know what? We're seeing a lot of mistakes from these last few starters. That's just a testament to how difficult that course is, how much that snow's deteriorated. With all this new soft snow we have, we're definitely going to be having some ruts. We're going to having some grooves to contend with, but some struggles from these last few racers definitely as they come down this bottom section.
Okay, this is number 52, Rebecca Argenal, who's on course from Canada as well.
You know what? A little bit of a mistake down that pitch, which cost her, but she's going to be doing her best to make up as much speed as she can. We're almost seeing her not even able to cross block in the bottom section just because that rut has pushed her so far away from the gate, but she's doing the best she can, and happy to see her across the line. She made it down.
Nice little wave.
Still smiling. So great experience for Argenal, and we know there's lots more out of her for her career.
Okay, so there you go. We've got a mass section of the ladies who are going to make a difference on this course. It is the ladies' turn. That was what we were just watching a few moments ago. It is the slalom. This is the Canadian Alpine Championships. Again, full results at alpinecanada.org. As we bring this is actual live footage right now here from the Nakiska Ski Resort as we watch the final remaining ladies on course.
We got bib number 39, Abigail Guimond. Actually racing for the USA, one of our last racers of the day, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Last but not least, right? She's skiing great. Look at her attacking this top section here. She knows this is the tougher section. She knows the ruts are there. Her coaches have radioed up to her. She knows what she's expecting and knows it's going to be a fight, but there she is executing it, I think, as planned.
No doubt her parents are going to be proud of that young lady. Abigail Gaumont is on course as she just makes it through the final stretch of this amazing facility here at the Nakiska Ski Resort and this hill as well, too. Abigail Gaumont across the finish line as we draw your attention back to the top of the hill. And this should be Chloe Laidlaw coming up in just a few moments again as she just, there's Chloe.
I think our last racer down the mountain had a 1:00.78 from the first run. May not have been the time she was looking for. A few mistakes in the first run, but that's okay. She knows this is just another experience, another time to push out of that gate. And again, great opportunity for these young athletes to be competing against the best in the country, chasing some of those leaders down the mountain. And you know what? Competing in a national competition at this level is an tremendous accomplishment for all of these athletes.
Yeah,
so again, huge congratulations.
And so great to see amazing support has been given to all of these athletes, from families to friends, of course, to the coaches. This is what makes this so much fun. Again, you're watching our final competitor is Chloe Laidlaw, the women's slalom, the Canadian Alpine Championships. We don't have the exact times just yet, but again, full results at alpinecanada.org. But we hope you're enjoying this amazing competition here from Nakiska Ski Resort. By the way, you got a couple of days off? You might want to stop by here and enjoy the snow. Paul, it hasn't stopped snowing yet.
It hasn't. We have almost 2.5 days now of excellent snow conditions. Nakiska is, everyone in Nakiska is smiling just from ear to ear. One of the best powder destinations in Western Canada
100%.
right now. I think they're really enjoying it, although not the best conditions for racing. Difficult decision to make that cancellation for yesterday's giant slalom, but again, safety being paramount. Glad to have the racing on today with the slalom of the U19 National Alpine Championships from Nakiska Ski Resort.
A little disappointment earlier today, of course, our first run. How about Abby Harrison? That young lady had a time of 51.34 on her first run, but unbelievable. A little bit of a hiccup down that run, and we saw that a couple of times as well, too. Some of these ladies, great times in the first run, but the key is it's consistency. Now, what's going to happen? The course is going to be changed slightly. Why do we change it? Because, well, that's just the nature of the beast here. We don't want to keep the same course because, Paul, if we keep the same course, well, then they might get used to it. But no, it's all the ruts as well, too. Let's take a look here. This is the young lady we were talking about. There's Abby. Again, she had the fastest time, and, oh, man, she just pulled her leg a little too far off course. Could it be the ruts? We don't know. But again, there's some of the challenges that these ladies are facing. Here, right there, competitor number 57, we saw a few moments ago, just getting that was not...
Yeah, definite disappointment there. We saw a lot of mistakes being made. But again, with these ruts and these conditions, it's a difficult scenario where you have the reverse 30. Although Abby Harrison had that lead off the start, she had that best time from the first run. She had a definite disadvantage racing 30th down the mountain where all those ruts were already developed, those ruts were already in place, and she had to compete against those girls who were only a few seconds behind her but had that advantage of a fresh course. So again, one of the strategies in this sport, one of those difficult situations, but again, everyone has the same rules, everyone has the same level playing field, and we're going to compete to our absolute best ability regardless of what position you're pushing out and what condition that course is in.
And one of the things that we do, that's the reason why these courses are now changed for the women and for the men, and for that sole reason you just talked about, Paul, because the thing that you don't want to have is a rut so deep that now it's at a disadvantage for a lot of these athletes. So now the course is going to be changed for the men. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we've actually had 4 different course sets today. Obviously a different course for men and women, different course for first run and second run. So 4 different courses set on the mountain today. I know a huge challenge to battle the soft snow for our coaches that were setting those courses, but I think 4 great tracks, and all athletes had a chance to inspect those. I think they've done their absolute best, and there's no training runs in slalom, so winner take all, one shot.
As you're watching some replays here as well, too.
No, we're doing a great job of replaying some of our action from the first run here. Great to see that these women are really toughing it out and fighting through this section here. We know how difficult it was for them. We know how much of a fight this was. You could see bib number 15 there lost her pole and just so focused and so dynamic, couldn't quite get it back onto track and couldn't quite get her hand back on her mitt there. We are lucky enough to catch up with one of our racers, member of the BC ski team, Kyle Alexander. We saw some success from you earlier in this week. Congratulations on a great week of racing.
Thank you. Yeah, it went not too bad the past few days. Today, not so much, but moving on.
Hey, that happens. But again, a great week of racing, and credit where credit's due. What happened today in the first run?
I just got a little bit behind it, then I straddled. I wasn't really 100% sure or not if I did straddle. Then later after my run, I found out I got DSQ'd.
Well, there you go, and you had to make that decision and continue down the course, because that is one of those intricacies of slalom, hooking those tips. And again, really, part of the game. Disappointing. Sorry to hear about your day, but you know what? You got a lot of years of racing ahead of you, and we know some success this week is going to take you into the next race series for sure. What's next for you?
Next for us is we're heading to Red Mountain, train for a few days, and we have some races there, and then we head out east for a while.
How old are you, man?
I'm 17.
Don't you have school?
I do. Yeah. Not there too much, but.
Yeah, that's all right. He loves the sport.
Well, that's a huge testament to our athletes. They're managing all their studies on the road, in and around their ski racing commitments. But again, part of the game, when you're racing, representing your province, you're going to be on the road an awful lot, and it's got to be a challenge to manage everything. Is it been difficult?
Yeah, it's tough at times, catching up with school and stuff, but it's not too bad. Yeah.
Hey, do me a favor. Look at the camera and say hi to Mom and Dad. It's right over here.
My mom, my dad.
Yeah, I'll be doing my homework soon.
One of the advantages Kyle Alexander has with school is he doesn't spend very much time on the course. He skis too fast, so he actually has extra time in the evenings because he spends as little amount of time on the hill as possible. So great skiing this week. Thanks again for stopping by, and congratulations and best of luck in the next series.
Thank you.
There you go, Kyle Alexander, Team BC, just one of the many, many great athletes here that you'll see. All right, here's the deal. The women are complete. The men are up next. Where are we? Nakiska Ski Resort. Why? It's the Slalom, the Canadian Alpine Championships. We're back in a moment. It is Chasing Limits here on Shaw TV.
Wycom Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits Series and Alberta Amateur Sports. Visit wycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
Shaw TV is home to the WHL regular season and the 2017 WHL playoffs. The journey will start with 22 teams and we'll have all the hits, the saves, and the goals until one team is crowned as Chanel Cup champions. For complete broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
For Sir George Etienne Cartier, the work of uniting Canada was as vast as the country itself. First, he won over Quebec.
Union is the only way forward.
No, Monsieur Cartier. Confederation will cost French Canadians their nationality.
Monsieur, together we will form a political nationality independent of our origins.
Diversity will be Canada's strength.
Then he fought for Manitoba.
The Northwest has formed a government under Louis Riel. We will not join Confederation unless our rights are respected.
So you want a new province? Then you have it. There will be a place for your people in Canada.
He envisioned a country from Atlantic to Pacific.
British Columbia won't even think of joining Canada without a wagon road through the Rockies.
Ask for a railway. We are building a country, after all.
Bold as a lion, Confederation could not have happened but for him. Du Canada, son pays, ses amours.
There's something you gotta see. Who did this? Pass the card. We have to go back up tomorrow. And then I'm gonna go up there without you. Help me. You'll have to trust me.
You better come home to me.
Yes, the snow is falling, and yes, it is an Alpine event that involves a lot of snow, and boy, are we getting our share and then some. Here at the Nakiska Ski Resort, it's the Canadian Alpine Championships, along with former World Cup racer Paul Stutz. Hi there, and welcome. My name is Phoenix. We have just seen the women's slalom a few moments ago, and man, that was a lot of fun to see. Some spills, some chills, some exciting stuff. Possibly some of the crashes, I shouldn't say crashes, but some of the missteps, probably due to the weather, probably due to little experience. I don't know. It could be a whole bunch of things.
I think a lot of the pieces of the puzzle are coming into play today. There's a lot of different factors. We have had a tremendous amount of snow. I bet you there's almost 2 feet of fresh snow here in Nakiska. Definitely a place where we've seen a lot of smiles and a lot of happy skiers. But unfortunately, in a race scenario, soft snow isn't exactly our best friend. We want that hard, firm surface and doing the best we can. You could see some of those mistakes from the first run, perhaps due to just being a little bit offline and a little bit on the inside. We're seeing those mistakes and the soft snow really compounding them.
Now, the protection for these ladies and these men are minimal, to say the best. I mean, really, the only thing they're really holding on to is that cross blocker. But beyond that, they don't have much except for their shins as well, too. Yes?
Exactly. They're going to want to be right on the pin, want to have that tightest line as possible. As you can see, those ski tips so close to the base of that gate. And they're going to be shinning and cross-blocking that gate out of their way as they attack down the mountain.
Again, these are the women who are on the hill right now. You said shinning, right?
Yeah, well, sure. I guess, no, they're going to be getting those gates out of the way any way possible. We do have those shin pads. They're protecting the racers, but they're always in those downhill suits, which have zero protection. And on a day like today, they're not exactly warm, I might add, too.
I understand that completely. Okay, a course is being redone for the men, so that the women's course that you're seeing here, this, of course, was earlier today, earlier competition, but the men's course is going to be moved over slightly so that they don't have to deal with these ruts these women's carved into the hill.
Exactly. Huge congratulations to all of our female athletes. They've done a great job, a tremendous week of racing, and they wrapped it up with the national U19 slalom champion, eagerly anticipating the results from the women's race. But now it's the men's turn. We have a new course set, a new part of the run, fresh snow, and I think we're going to have some great slalom action coming up here in a moment.
Paul, give us an idea here of how this course would be different than a World Cup course. Here's the deal. We understand that there's 60 gates. That's a lot of gates, but how does it differentiate? Because this slalom event, this is one of your top events.
It was my specialty for a lot of years, and was very proud to represent Canada on the slalom side. On the World Cup, World Cup tracks are typically a lot steeper. Some of the tougher courses in the world, tougher runs in the world. We have slalom races down, and typically a bit longer, usually around a minute in length. So, again, snow conditions is one thing that we always see. There are a lot of opportunities where resorts and race organizing committees will actually inject water into the snow, creating ice. We want that firm surface. It's almost like a skating rink on the side of the mountain, but that keeps these ruts that we're seeing today from developing.
Right.
Obviously, with this amount of new snow, not an opportunity to really move as much of that as we can. I know the resort did the absolute best they could with the snow machines, pushing around that snow, the racers, the volunteers doing their absolute best to get the snow in the best possible condition. But yes, it's still soft out there, and we know they're still going to have some challenges, those ruts develop.
We just saw earlier competition with the ladies, as the men's competition is just moments away, as the men are on the top of the hill about to attack this course. 4 runners are being sent down here just to what? Just to smoothen out the course? No, probably not to smoothen out the course, but just give us an idea why the 4 runners are sent first.
Well, they're going to be there to, yes, put a few tracks on the course, ensure it's running well, maybe break up some of those spots, but almost locate where they need more attention. They need to be moving some more snow. They'll be reporting to the jury and the ROC at the finish line to ensure it's safe and fair, and if any changes, last-minute changes, albeit, to the course need to be made, they'll be making them then. So, Forerunners, another group of volunteers that are out here doing their best to ensure by the time bib number 1, our first racer, pushes out of that gate, we have a great race ahead of us.
Now, granted, this is not the Super G, but these athletes are still going at some pretty amazing speeds. The course looks a little flat from this angle.
It does, and that is deceiving, too, because we know Whoop Up, one of the steeper runs at Nakiska here, those pitches down that run, I mean, it's a black diamond. That's very steep and almost disconcerting as you break over that pitch there. It's quite steep and quite, I don't want to say scary, but maybe I've been retired for long enough I can say that.
Yeah.
I can finally say it is a little intimidating, but no intimidation from these racers. We're seeing our third of our Forerunners down the course and attacking it, breaking that up, seeing where some of that soft snow is. But, great skiing across the flats. I'm excited to see the top 30 of the men of the U19 National Alpine Championships coming up. These are the best under-19 racers in the country, and they're going to be strutting their stuff in the slalom here on our last day of racing.
Well, if there's any good news, Paul, the sun seems to be poking its head through, so maybe these men are going to get a real feel for the grooves in this course, because for a while there we had overcast conditions for the ladies competition, But now with the sun peeking its nose out, this could be beneficial for each of these racers.
I think we've seen every different type of weather this
Boy,
week.
haven't
We've seen
we?
the sun, the cold, the wind, the fog, and here we are. We got the sun coming out. We got some perfect snow falling.
Don't get us wrong. It's gorgeous out here.
It's an absolute perfect day to be in Nakiska. So we are all lucky to be here. And you know what? I feel lucky to sit next to you. Look at our office today.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We're having a good time. So here we are, our first racer in the course, Dawson Yates in the start gate, getting held just before he bursts out of that gate. But he is all prepared. Skis are ready. Mind is ready. He knows this track. He's inspected this course. He's one of the favorites in the slalom event. He was 30th in our first run, and he is just itching to have that fresh course. Definite advantage for Yates in this second run to have that fresh course. Even though our leaders from the first run, Declan McCormick, Liam Wallace, Hunter Watson, our top three from the first run, have the advantage of time, they're going to be coming down in a much ruddier, much more deteriorated course. So Yates is going to have those fresh tracks that I think in skiing, whether it's on a powder day or a race course, fresh tracks are always what we want.
We know it's important. The timing is extremely important. We are having some little technical issues with the timing, but the good news is you can find it at alpinecanada.org with all the unofficial, probably official results by the time that you get there. But we'll give you an idea of how these racers look as they're coming down the course. And if I've got a World Cup racer here beside me, he knows exactly the technique you want, because as much as we can even talk the technique to, Paul, you still have to execute.
Yeah, we will definitely need to see some execution here in these challenging conditions. Further to the results, I know we won't have times live on screen for us, but yes, a number of the tremendous websites we have, alpinecanada.org, albertaalpine.ca, and fiski.com will all have results broadcast to you as soon as we have them. I know the timing committee here with this race is trying their best, but we have our first racer, Dawson Yates, on course. And look at this intensity, just blasting out of the start gate, creating as much speed as he can and staying strong and solid as he breaks over onto that pitch. Great skiing here, right on line, right on the pin, tight on the gate, strong pole plant. That's the type of slalom skiing we've been wanting to see. Awesome skiing here.
And just give you an idea, Dawson Yates, 3 seconds off the first run pace. He's trying to make it up as much as he can as he reaches for the finish line. Again, full results at alpinecanada.org as our next racer is on course. Jack, is this Jack Forsyth?
This is
the guy we just talked to a few moments ago.
This is Jack Forsyth, the one and only we just talked to. Great to see him. Thanks again for stopping by and having a chat with us. Whistler Mountain Ski Club native. He's just going to be absolutely chomping at these leaders. He's going to take full advantage of this great course condition. He's got the first run. We see a lot of times in slalom where the winners of the run are actually going to be the leaders coming from, even though they don't have the first run time behind them. We're going to see great skiing from these first few racers on this fresh course. Back to the start, Jed Sharp as he breaks over the pitch here. You know what?
And just loses it on the gate. Wonder if his ski just got a little tied up with that gate. His day is over. That is Jed Sharp.
That's slalom for you. It's a drag race. You have to be skiing at 100%, 110% for some of these guys. They need to be pushing it out of their comfort zone to be skiing as fast as they possibly can. Christian Callahan breaks over onto the pitch. Let's see if he can navigate his way past that section that took out Sharp in that run.
Now, as you'll notice that there at one time, two racers on the hill at one time. Oh, and you could just see he came over that double gate and just, not enough.
Yeah, Callahan just got hung up in that hairpin. We know that's one of the tighter combinations in the course. That's one of the trickier sections that these racers are going to be looking for. But you know what? Here we go. Another name we've heard today, Bennett Erickson. We had a chance to chat up with his mother earlier. Another tremendous volunteer, but a member of our local club, Calgary Alpine Racing Club member, Bennett Erickson. He's coached by World Cup legend Darren Macbeth. Has that experience. A great up-and-coming racer, and you know what? This is the execution we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Awesome skiing from Bennett as he carries his speed across the line in this bottom section, taking out the gates. Great skiing from Erickson as he crosses the line.
I think I just heard a yelp from Mom Shannon a few moments ago. Yeah, Mom Shannon, he did great. And how about Matthias Lalonde on course now?
You know what? Again, great skiing in this section here. We know this is one of the more difficult parts of the course as they break over onto that intimidating, if you will. Maybe I shouldn't have said that because I'm the only one intimidated. But these guys have nothing but confidence. They are skiing very well. And you know what? That's the line we were looking for. Stayed high at the gate. He was carrying all of his speed from the top of the turn, tight on the pin, good rhythm. Lalonde skiing very well in this second run, carrying that speed across the line.
And punching those gates out as much as you can. Get him out of your way, and Casper Woolley knows what he's got to do, too. He's a couple of seconds off the first run pace. Casper Woolley on course.
Did you see the speed he had in that top section? He pushed out of that start gate. I think he made a few tenths of a second extra through that top section because he was carrying more speed across that top flats than I think anyone yet. But a couple of those mistakes on the pitch that we just saw might cost him. If he's going to be fast on the flats here, he'll be fast today. But hopefully those mistakes down that pitch didn't cost him. Great skiing in the bottom section here, though.
As we're watching Casper Woolley down the course, and he just finishes it, we'll have your time. Full results at alpinecanada.org as we draw your attention to our 8th competitor on course for the Alpine Championships Slalom event. You're watching the men's competition, Joseph Mergel.
Bib number 37 had a strong first run. Obviously, a fast time, 45.27. Not quite enough to get him into the top 20, but you know what? He's going to be working his way there. There's a top 15 result in the back of his mind. He wants to be cracking his way, top 15, top 10, but he knows he's going to be putting it all on the line. He's going to be pushing those limits in the second run, looking nice and strong and solid across the line. Let's hope that time worked out for him and he can get himself onto that front page result that he was looking for. Bib number 44, Harrison Wood on course.
Man, what a great name and what a great competitor as well, too. Again, this is the section that's extremely steep, but look at how he is just pushing through those gates, maintaining that rhythm. You got to keep the flow. That's how you're going to get the time. Maintain it. Look, he's doing great through this section, Paul.
Yeah, skiing well. He's calm. He's got a great pole plant, great block. He's looking strong and solid. Nothing extra, no extra movements. Exactly what we want to see. Great example of nice technique in slalom skiing. Now this looks more like what I'm used to. A little bit more wild, a little bit more aggressive, and you know what? It can be fast too.
It can be effective.
Great
Absolutely.
skiing here from Olivier Parody. You know what? That's the kind of wild slalom technique that I've always liked. We've seen a lot of our Canadians take that wild side to their skiing, and you know what? This might be one of our next competitors working his way up onto the national team because great slalom skiing like that is exactly what it's going to take as he crosses the line.
Well, if there's any advantage for this gentleman, Eric Dalton, the advantage, Mother Nature. The sun is really creeping its head out right now. No doubt giving some great contrast to the hill itself. But man, he's having trouble trying to cut the carves as deep as he can, but he's maintaining his composure.
Dalton right on the edge. You know what? Aggressive skiing down that pitch is exactly what we wanted to see. That's going to be effective, but this is where it counts. Can he take that speed from that pitch and be quick on his feet as he crosses the line? Yes, he can. That was exactly the type of skiing you need to be doing in the bottom. Great effort there. Although on the edge, on the pitch, we're already seeing it start to deteriorate a little bit, but we know carrying the speed across the line is going to be the name of the game. Charles-Antoine Allaire from Canada. Great slalom technique in the bottom section here, but nice and quick.
Well, we'll tell you, too, that you can get full results of the scores at alpinecanada.org. We're just giving you a feel of exactly what the top 30 look like, and the men are not disappointing. How about Griffin Kopp on course now?
We've seen this name pop up a few times this week. Great week of racing for Kopp. Tremendous young racer, up-and-coming athlete. We know lots more to come from him, and apparently we're going to see lots more of him in slalom with skiing like this. Great attack as he comes through this middle section here. Across the line, lots of speed. I would have no doubts that's going to be one of our top times thus far in the second run. Great skiing from Kopp.
Alvis Scarbosio on course from Italia, representing Team Italy.
I like that international contingent we have here. You know what? Everyone taking advantage of the great races that we can put on in this country, not to mention this province and this hill. The Italians are taking the attack from the top of the mountain. Let me give you a fun fact here.
Sure.
Our 1988 Olympic champion was the one and only Alberto Tomba from Italy. Let's hope that Italian Scarbosio is going to be carrying some of those vibes with him today as he's attacking down the exact same run that so many years ago Tomba won the Olympic gold on this run.
William Gonneau is on course right now, struggling with a few of the gates, trying to find his rhythm, trying to get the speed as much as he can. His first run was 44.66, 2 seconds off the fastest time. We'll find out as his time is in a few moments.
Gonneau shaking his head a little bit there. I'm not sure if he's happy with his run, but you know what? That was still some great skiing. I think we'll see a good time from him here.
I love this guy's name, Brian Weatherall. Well, whether or not he likes it, we've got a lot of great weather here at the Nakiska Ski Resort. He's on course right now, fighting his way through this course, pushing those gates out of his way. It's like, man, listen, I got to go. Get out of my way.
He's stuck a little bit in the back seat there, which we know is not the position you want to be in coming off that pitch. But again, strong skiing. Back to bib 21, Jamie Castleman, skiing strong over the breakover. But you know what? Just a little bit late with the tempo. He's got the angles, he's got the technique, but he just needs a little bit higher line, I think, to be making the speed. Again, a true testament to how hard he's working in these tough course conditions, because there's not much he can be doing. But look at those fast feet in the bottom section here. He is carrying all that speed. He might have been late, but he's up top, but he's fast in the bottom section here. Great skiing in this section there from Castleman.
You like this guy, Felix Blanchard, who's on course right now. We've seen him at a few competitions over the last couple of days here at Nakiska Ski Resort, doing real good. A nice fluid motion, a little bit of slip up on that one gate. How's he doing, Paul?
Great skiing. You know, Coach James Gachera, we were talking with him earlier. Blanchard, one of our favorites today from the Quebec ski team, one of those great up-and-coming young racers. And you know what, looking very strong, very comfortable, and attacking. He knows the course isn't pretty. He knows it's going to be a fight, but that's exactly what he's doing. He is fighting, and that's the name of the game if you're going to be on the top of the podium today. Back to the start.
Miles Kowalchuk is on course right now. He's the big, again, 2 seconds off the pace of the first run. It's a combined score. That will determine your standings at the top of the leaderboard.
So still a difficult position for him because we're already seeing the course deteriorate. We're already seeing those ruts develop, but he still has that 2-second deficit off our leaders that he's trying to make up. So you know what? Kowalchuk, bib number 26 across the line. Great skiing, but he just might be succumbing to the fact that course really is deteriorating, and he didn't have the time from the first run.
Cameron Dimond is on course now. This is bib number 10, competitor number 20 on course.
Great skiing here too. You know, I keep saying that over and over. It sounds like I'm saying that everyone's skiing great, but everyone is. Everyone is doing such a great job. They are fighting, and look at that drive across the line. Just trying to milk every 100th of a second out of this course you possibly can. We got Jordan Asher on course. I take that back. Asher Jordan on this course.
Jordan, yep.
Yeah, no, great skier, another up and comer, and look at this aggressive style.
Beautiful rhythm through this section. Again, 3 massive sections here. This is the middle section right now. As you see, Jordan Asher coming to the finish. This is the bottom section, and as he pushes through.
Oh, a little bit of a mistake there across the line. I'm not sure if that's what he had planned, but you know what? Again, fighting his way down through these tough conditions. Asher Jordan, great skiing there, and I think more to come from him this season. We know he's going to be fighting, but I think, again, might have been stuck in that middle section where we know the course is deteriorating, but we just don't have the times made up on the first run. Back to our start gate, Alberta ski team member, another one of our hometown favorites, Kelvin Cochran.
Yeah, I love this guy's name. Of course, Cochran is not too far away from here. Now, boom, he is on course. Kelvin Cochran, number 17. He's our 22nd competitor. 22 guys in, Paul. You can see the ruts on your screen. They're getting deeper, getting more challenging, more difficult for each of these racers.
But we're seeing these skiers get faster and faster. You know, Alberta ski team, they've been working a lot on their flat sections lately. They know that's something they wanted to improve on.
Oh, and
that's
loses.
Just a mistake we don't want to see. Just got a little bit on his heels on the pitch, and unfortunately that'll be the end of his podium chances, but luckily he stayed in the course and gonna attack
He's fighting,
every
isn't
bit
he?
of the bottom of this course. He's fighting for it. Great skiing, great effort.
Good job,
doing
Kelvin.
everything he can. That's a testament of a true athlete.
Great job, buddy.
Big mistake, but you know what? Just fought through it, did everything he could. Teammate Carson Cook on course.
Well, if there's anyone who wants to make a difference or make an impact, it's this gentleman here, Carson Cook. Again, I look at his first run time. He was off by 1.3 seconds in to the top of the run, the leader in the first round. Carson Cook has a chance right here. He knows it. He can do whatever he can. Again, final results at alpinecanada.org.
Good push across the line here. Back to the start, bib number 12, Jordan Phillips, another name we've seen pop up this week. Great skiing. And look at that smart line. That's tactics. That's great skiing. He came over that pitch. He didn't care where the rut was. He knew exactly where he wanted to be skiing, and he stuck to his game plan. Great line, great tactics, and let's let him run in the bottom. Hopefully he can make up some of that speed. And there it is across the line for Phillips.
A lot to be proud of for that gentleman. Back on top, it's Dawson Hill, who's on your TV screen right now. Dawson Hill on course.
Dawson Hill moving on to the tougher section. We know it's deteriorated, but as we just saw, it's still possible to stay on that line. And look at this. Smart execution, great skiing, great tempo. That's what we want to see. But as we know, that's not all it takes. We really need to be letting it go and making as much speed in the bottom section of this course as we can. Quick feet, quick tempo across the line. Great skiing for Dawson Hill.
On the top of the hill, it's Sam Duff. Bib number 6, our 26th competitor down here. Get this, Sam Duff had a time, his first run was 43.58. The top time, 42.04. Does he have a chance to make his way to the top of the leaderboard, the top 3? Yeah, especially if he just nails this run.
Of course he does. He knows he's in the mix. He's in the top 5 from the first run, and with smart skiing like that, I think he's executing his plan perfectly. Great push across the line, exactly what we wanted to see. We got bib number 1, BC Ski Team, Max Kirschenblatt. Another name, another phenomenal racer from the BC Ski Team. Some success this week, and if he can continue that reign from BC into the slalom event, he's going to be doing it if he can. Strong skiing through the bottom section, but it's speed that matters. It's not all about how it looks. It's about what the clock says at the end of the day across the line for Kirschenblatt.
Great stuff for him. And Henry Lewell, boy, we've heard this name a few times in the downhill competition. Henry Lewell, I believe he won one downhill over the last couple of days. Wow, he had a time of 42.99. Get this, only 0.6 seconds off the top run, the first run.
And as we all know, there is a combined event in Alpine ski racing, and Lewell might be one of our up-and-coming favorites in that. A downhill champion this week and strong slalom skiing here. He is a multi-talented athlete who can do it all in all events. Great to see skiing from Lewell like that. Hunter Watson on course, breaking onto the pitch. We're getting down to our last few. Great skiing from Watson. Smart skiing from these top racers. These are our highest ranked racers in this race. These are our favorites to win. They have the low start numbers, and they're battling through these tough conditions with just awesome skiing as they carry that speed onto the bottom section of Whoop Up.
Household names they could be over the next couple of years. Follow them along and follow this guy along too. Liam Wallace now on course. He is literally 0.2 seconds off the first one's top time, and blows a tire around one of those gates.
He is going to hike, but that'll be the end of his chances today. Unfortunate to see, you know what, an amazing young athlete working his way up, an Alberta prodigy that we want to be seeing a lot more from. We've seen him win a slalom race a week ago at Norquay, but unfortunately not going to be on the top of the podium today with a mistake like that.
But this is the guy you want to keep your eyes on. His name is Declan McCormack. He had the fastest time in the first run of 42.04. How do you do it? Watch this guy and watch what he can do.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the slalom skiing we've been watching for. This is the tactician. This is the technical skiing we've been looking for all week. Strong and solid across the line. McCormack, our leader from the morning, across the line in the second run, and he's got some fans cheering for him. I would like to see him on the top of that podium today with skiing like that, and I think it's likely that we will.
Paul, I agree with you 100%. Okay, there you have the top 30 men Alpine skiing here, but we'll take a look at the first run times just to give you an idea of where they all stack up. Again, these are first run times. We mentioned Declan McCormack, you saw just a few moments ago at 42.04. Boy, there was such a separation between Declan and, as we saw, each of the competitors. What a difference in technique and skill.
Unfortunate to see Wallace not make it down, but you know what? We said it several times today. You have to be pushing 100%. Mistakes are going to happen in these tough conditions, but we saw some excellent skiing. McCormick just showed us all how it's done, even through these tough conditions, this soft snow, all of those ruts. It shows it still can be done, and the attack from the back still can happen. Excellent slalom racing from our U19 National Alpine Championships. We'll be eagerly anticipating the times and being able to crown our U19 National Slalom Champion.
AlpineCanadaLive.org. AlpineCanadaLive.org will give you the final results. Again, we're looking at Run 1 results of the top 30 men. The men raced, the females were earlier. That was a lot of fun. Again, you can see the skill levels from the 30th competitor down to the number 1 competitor.
Definitely. We have got a good broad field of athletes from across this country, but we were watching our top skiers coming down in that 30th position, and they just kept getting faster and faster, and that's the type of exciting ski racing that we want to see, and that's what makes it fun for everyone watching at home.
So when you're watching this competition, I'm sure you're seeing a little part of you as well too. Again, this is your sport. This was your specialty. You were on racetracks like this.
This is an absolute pleasure for me. This is something I'm very comfortable with, and a huge part of my world. I'm so thankful to this sport. It's given me so much, and I've had the opportunity to ski down courses just like this for the better part of the last 2 decades, and I'm just so lucky to be able to watch this next generation of champions working their way up the ranks in the slalom event here today.
Fantastic facility here at Nakiska Ski Resort, and you know what? We couldn't have asked for anything better. Yeah, sure, Mother Nature was a little bit of a factor, but you know what? Who's complaining when you see snow at the top of this hill? Here's some highlights of the men's competition here. Paul, some great athletes doing some incredible things today.
It's excellent to see a bit of a slow-mo here. You can see just how fast those feet are moving, how intricate those positions, and how precise these racers have to be. He puts his hand down across the line to break that wand. But here's a great example of what can happen when you're pushing those limits a little too far. You know what? Just got a little bit on his heels, caught in the soft snow, and mistakes just like this one can happen. I saw some excellent skiing today, some mistakes that could or could not have been avoided. But you know what? It takes it all to make an exciting race like today.
You might make yourself a good coach one day there, my friend.
Hey, you never know. I think this side of the camera has been a lot of fun, so I'm happy sitting in this chair because you know what? The coaches are definitely going to be watching for their athletes. I have the lucky vantage to point. I can cheer for absolutely everyone in this race, and I think we're the lucky ones being on this side.
I so agree, Paul. I so agree, and I'm sure that a lot of these athletes are going to be looking at themselves too and saying, oh, I wish I would have done that, or I wish I would have done that. But yeah, thumbs up all around for these great athletes. If they're tight to the gates, they're going to be successful. If they push their limits a little bit, they could be successful. But as we saw earlier, there could be some challenges as well too. But that is the fun about watching great Alpine competitors like all of these here as well too.
Well, as we know, it's a learning experience for a lot of these young racers. This is part of the game. This is just one of those steps in the puzzle. But here we are, the National Alpine Championship Slalom, another day of great racing.
You're right, Paul. Another successful Alpine event is now in the books. Nakiska Ski Resort, playing host to these past 5 days of outstanding competition, breathtaking runs, and a few spills along the way. On behalf of our brilliant volunteers and crew for their tireless efforts, as well as a special thanks to my broadcast partner over the past week, Paul Stutz. My name is Phoenix. We hope you enjoyed coverage of the Canadian National Alpine Championships from Alberta. This is Chasing Limits, a glimpse into Western Canada's action sports and a look into the athletes and personalities that continue to chase their limits. Till next time.
Wycom Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits series and Alberta amateur sports. Visit wycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
There's something you gotta see.
Who did this? That's the car.
We have to go back up tomorrow. And then I'm gonna go up there without you. Help me. You'll have to trust me.
You better come home to me.
For Sir George Etienne Cartier, the work of uniting Canada was as vast as the country itself. First, he won over Quebec.
Union is the only way forward.
No, Monsieur Cartier. Confederation will cost French Canadians their nationality.
Monsieur, together we will form a political nationality independent of our origins.
Diversity will be Canada's strength.
Then he fought for Manitoba.
The Northwest has formed a government under Louis Riel. We will not join Confederation unless our rights are respected.
So you want a new province? Then you'll have it. There will be a place for your people in Canada.
He envisioned a country from Atlantic to Pacific.
British Columbia won't even think of joining Canada without a wagon road through the Rockies.
Ask for a railway. We are building a country, after all.
Bold as a lion, Confederation could not have happened but for him. Le Canada, son pays, ses amours.